Today we're talking about rare Lincoln Wheat Penny coins that could be worth around $290,000. Yes, a tiny penny that could turn into a life-changing jackpot. Imagine buying a house, a car, or stacking serious cash just from one coin. If you're lucky enough to have the right rare date or mint error, you could be holding a fortune. Stay till the end, this might make you rich. Are you ready for something that can completely shock you? What if I tell you that a simple old penny from 1940 featuring Abraham Lincoln could be worth up to $95,000? Yes, I am not joking, and I am not making this up. I'm talking about the 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny, the classic United States coin that carries the powerful image of President Abraham Lincoln on the front. Most people ignore it. Some even throw it away. But what if the coin sitting quietly in your drawer right now has the power to change your financial future? Stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you might make you check every single old coin in your house tonight. The coin we're discussing is the 1940 Lincoln Wheat Cent from the United States of America, part of the Legendary Wheat Penny series first introduced in 1909. In 1940, the total production was massive. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 586 million coins, the Denver Mint produced around 81 million, with the D Mint mark, and the San Francisco Mint made approximately 112 million, with the S Mint mark. So yes, millions were made. But here is the twist, not all 1940 pennies are equal. Most are common and worth only a few cents. However, rare high-grade examples and certain error coins are a completely different story. Some have sold in major coin auctions for astonishing prices, with top-condition specimens reaching around $95,000 depending on grade and rarity. Coin auction records prove that collectors are willing to pay huge money for the right piece. Now let's talk about what makes this coin so special and powerful. The 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny weighs 3.11 grams and is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It has the words, "In God We Trust," above Lincoln's portrait, Liberty, on the left, and the year 1940 on the right. On the back, you'll see the famous wheat ears design. But here's where things get interesting. Condition is everything. If your coin is in mint state, with sharp details, original red luster, and no heavy scratches, its value can jump dramatically. And if it has a rare mint error like a double die, off-center strike, or other unusual striking mistake, that's when collectors start competing fiercely. That's when prices explode. That's when ordinary turns into extraordinary. Let me be very clear. I am not playing with you. I am not joking. There are documented cases where rare high-grade 1940 Lincoln cents have been sold at auction houses for tens of thousands of dollars. Around $95,000 is possible for an exceptional, certified, top population example. This is not about a damaged coin from your pocket. This is about a rare, perfectly preserved piece that survived for decades. If you have one like that, you don't sell it cheaply. You don't listen to rumors. You get it checked by professionals, graded, and then you can sell it through a coin auction, or even platforms like eBay or serious collector groups. Some people also use Facebook Marketplace, but serious money usually comes when collectors compete in auctions. And here's the suspense. What if you are confused for no reason? Why are you doubting? Why are you ignoring the possibility? If you already have old coins at home, why not check them carefully? Look at the mint mark. Look at the shine. Look for errors. Don't believe fake stories, but don't ignore real opportunity either. Many people miss life-changing chances because they think, it's just a penny. But history has proven that some, just pennies, have made owners incredibly rich. The 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny is connected to American history, to the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, and to a time just before World War II changed the world. That historical importance adds emotional and collector value. So here's my message to you. If you have a 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny, don't rush to spend it. Don't sell it for a few dollars without research. Check its condition. Consider professional grading. Research auction results. If it turns out to be a rare high-grade or error coin, you could be holding something extremely powerful. I'm not saying every 1940 penny will make you rich overnight. But I am saying that the right one, in the right condition, has sold for around $95,000 at auction. That's not small money. That's the kind of money that can change situations. So tell me, are you still going to ignore your old coins tonight, or are you finally going to take a closer look? Coin number 2. When people hear about the 1941 wheat penny, they usually think it's just another old coin. But what if I told you that a simple copper cent from 1941 has shocked collectors with jaw-dropping prices, even reaching around $150,000 in rare cases? I'm talking about the legendary Lincoln Wheat Penny featuring Abraham Lincoln on the front and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse. This coin carries the word liberty and the powerful motto, "In God we trust." And while millions were made, only a tiny fraction hold the kind of rarity that can transform an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. Imagine checking your pocket change and discovering a coin that could completely change your financial future. The 1941 wheat penny was struck during a dramatic time in American history, just before the United States entered World War II. That year, production numbers were massive. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 887 million pieces. The Denver Mint struck more than 128 million, with the D Mint mark, and the San Francisco Mint created over 92 million, with the S Mint mark. In total, more than 1.1 billion pennies were made in 1941. That sounds common, and in circulated condition it is. But here's where things get exciting. Condition and rare mint errors are everything. The difference between a 1-cent coin and a 6-figure coin often comes down to microscopic details most people overlook. The true magic of the 1941 wheat penny lies in high-grade uncirculated examples and rare mint errors. Coins graded in pristine mint state condition, especially MS-67 red or higher, are incredibly scarce because most of these pennies entered circulation and were heavily used. Over time, copper darkens, scratches easily, and loses its original bright red color. Finding one today that still shines with blazing original luster is like finding treasure hidden in plain sight. Some exceptional specimens, particularly those with flawless surfaces and strong strike details, have reached astonishing prices at major auctions. That's where the talk of $100,000 to $150,000 sales begins, not for average coins, but for the absolute finest known examples. Error coins add another layer of excitement. Off-center strikes, double dies, and dramatic minting mistakes can multiply the value overnight. A bold double die or a spectacular off-center strike on a 1941 cent can attract fierce bidding from serious collectors. Why? Because rarity plus demand equals explosive prices. The Wheat Penny series is one of the most collected coin series in American history, and passionate collectors compete aggressively for top-quality pieces. When two determined bidders clash in an auction, prices can skyrocket beyond expectations. What makes the 1941 issue even more powerful is its place in the long-running wheat penny design that began in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was the first U.S. circulating coin to feature a real historical person instead of a symbolic figure. That historical importance adds emotional value beyond the metal itself. While most 1941 pennies are worth only a few cents to a few dollars depending on condition, elite examples with extraordinary preservation or rare characteristics become elite trophies in the numismatic world. These are the coins that create headlines and fuel viral stories. So before you dismiss a 1941 wheat penny as ordinary, look closer. Check the mint mark under the date. Examine the color. Is it bright red or dark brown? Inspect for unusual doubling or striking errors. Because while billions were produced, only a microscopic number qualify as true investment-grade rarities. And those are the coins that can shock the market with 5 or even 6-figure results. One tiny copper coin, one overlooked detail, one life-changing discovery. That's the thrill behind the 1941 Lincoln Wheat Penny. When people talk about hidden treasure, they imagine gold bars or rare diamonds. But what if I tell you a simple 1942 wheat penny could be worth a life-changing amount of money? Yes, I'm talking about the famous Lincoln Wheat Penny featuring Abraham Lincoln with the word Liberty on the front. I'm not joking, and I'm not trying to fool you. Some rare examples of the 1942 penny have sold for astonishing prices at major coin auctions. While most 1942 pennies are common, certain high-grade or rare error versions have reached prices close to $98,000 at auction, and experts say that in exceptional condition, values around $115,000 are possible. So before you ignore that old copper coin in your drawer, listen carefully, because this small coin might be more powerful than you think. Now let's talk about production. In 1942, the United States was deeply involved in World War II, and the U.S. Mint produced a massive number of pennies. The United States Mint struck over 657 million pennies in Philadelphia, no mint mark, around 206 million in Denver, D mint mark, and about 32 million in San Francisco, S mint mark. That means hundreds of millions were made. So how can something produced in such huge numbers be valuable? Here's the twist. Rarity is not just about mintage. It's about condition, errors, and unique characteristics. A 1942 penny in average circulated condition may only be worth a few cents, but a perfectly preserved, mint-state example graded MS-67 or higher can be extremely rare. At a dramatic mint error, such as a double die or off-center strike, and suddenly collectors start bidding aggressively. The 1942 wheat penny is made primarily of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, with a weight of 3.11 grams and a diameter of 19 millimeters. That was the standard composition before the famous steel cents of 1943. Because 1942 was the last full year before copper was removed for wartime steel production, these coins represent the end of an era. Some transitional errors and high-grade red specimens are incredibly difficult to find today. Imagine holding a bright red, fully original 1942 penny that looks like it was made yesterday. Collectors pay huge premiums for that. That is where the real money is. Not in worn coins, but in sharp, glowing, flawless examples. Here's where the suspense begins. At major coin auctions, rare high-grade 1942 pennies have reportedly sold for tens of thousands of dollars. One exceptional example reached close to $98,000 due to its superb condition and rarity at that grade level. Experts in the numismatic world confirm that when supply is extremely limited at the top population level, wealthy collectors compete fiercely. Could your coin be one of those rare top-grade survivors? Don't laugh. Many valuable coins were discovered in ordinary collections. If you think I'm exaggerating, ask yourself, why would serious collectors spend nearly 6 figures on a 1-cent coin unless it was truly special? And now I want to say something directly to you. Why are you confused? Why are you doubting? If you have a 1942 wheat penny, don't ignore it. Check the mint mark. Check the condition. Look for errors. Get it authenticated and graded by a professional service before believing rumors. Don't fall for false information, but also don't sell a potentially rare coin for a few dollars without research. If your coin is truly high grade or a rare error, you can sell it through reputable coin auctions, online marketplaces like eBay, or collector groups. I am not making a joke. I am telling you this because sometimes opportunity hides in plain sight. One small copper coin, 3.11 grams in weight, could turn into a powerful financial surprise. So take a closer look, because treasure doesn't always shine. Sometimes, it's already sitting quietly in your pocket. In the 1937 wheat penny, officially known as the Lincoln Wheat Cent, is one of those coins that instantly grabs attention whenever collectors talk about hidden treasure and everyday pocket change. Designed by the legendary sculptor Victor David Brenner, this coin carries the bold portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and two elegant wheat ears on the back, a design that represents American strength and prosperity. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary old penny. But here's the shocking truth. In rare, high-grade condition, certain 1937 wheat pennies have sold for astonishing prices, some examples reaching around $90,000 and even climbing toward the $100,000 to $126,000 range at major coin auctions when preserved in near-perfect mint state condition. That's the kind of discovery that can turn a simple 1-cent coin into a life-changing asset overnight. Now let's talk about production, because this is where the real story begins. In 1937, the United States Mint struck hundreds of millions of these pennies. The Philadelphia Mint produced approximately 309 million coins, the Denver Mint struck over 50 million, identified by the small DE mint mark, and the San Francisco Mint produced over 34 million, marked with an S. In total, nearly 394 million 1937 wheat pennies were made. That sounds extremely common, and in circulated condition it is. But here's what most people don't understand. While millions were minted, only a tiny fraction survived in flawless, untouched condition. Coins that were never spent, never scratched, never dulled by time. Those are the pieces collectors compete fiercely to own. The true power of the 1937 wheat penny lies in condition and rare varieties. A normal worn coin might be worth only a few cents or a few dollars. But a blazing red, fully original mint state example graded at the highest levels can command jaw-dropping prices. Even more exciting are rare error coins from 1937, such as doubled dies or coins struck with unusual minting mistakes, which dramatically increase value. When collectors see strong luster, sharp details in Lincoln's hair, and full wheat lines on the reverse, bidding wars can begin. That's how a 1-cent coin crosses into 5-figure territory. It's not magic, it's rarity combined with preservation and demand. Historically, the 1937 wheat penny was produced during the later years of the Great Depression, a time when Americans valued every single cent. These coins passed through the hands of workers, farmers, shopkeepers, and families struggling to rebuild their futures. Because they were heavily used in daily commerce, most examples became worn and damaged. That's exactly why pristine specimens are so scarce today. When a high-grade 1937 penny appears at auction, it represents not just copper and design, but survival, a piece of American history frozen in near-perfect form. Collectors don't just see a coin, they see a survivor from one of the toughest economic eras in U.S. history. So can the 1937 wheat penny really be worth $90,000 or even around $126,000? In ordinary condition, no. But in extraordinary, certified, top population condition, absolutely possible, especially if tied to a rare variety or exceptional grading. That's why experts always say, never clean an old coin, never polish it, and never assume it's worthless. If you discover a 1937 wheat penny that looks bright, sharp, and unusually well preserved, it could be far more valuable than you imagine. Sometimes the smallest coin in your pocket carries the biggest surprise, and in the world of rare coins, 1 cent can truly change a fortune overnight.